I'm Louise Palenker, and this is Quarantainment. Welcome to you, fellow shut-in. We begin today's program from in front of my record collection. I must confess to you that, as a child, my musical tastes leaned towards corny. I am packing no shortage of Anne Murray, Andy Williams, Air Supply, Kenny Rogers, and as a teenager, I was obsessed with the Lettermen. Gorgeous arrangements, transcendent harmonic blends, insane. So I thought what we could do is take a look at my record collection, and then we're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna grab an album at random and see if I can sing any song listed on the back. Play along at home. Got Marty Robbins, the Smothers Brothers, Helen Reddy, the Lettermen, Andy Williams. Records I would show my friends include the Beatles, but I've got Sinatra, I had Sammy, more Lettermen, the Mills Brothers, Paul Simon, Gladys Knight. Look at these guys. Gorgeous! Diana Ross and the Supremes, Moody Blues, hashtag corny, Barry Manilow. Oh, Paul Anka. One of the greatest albums of all time, Peter, Paul, and Mommy. And we've got our Anne Murray. So you gotta have the Temptations. No Korn fan can be without Roger Whittaker. I had We Are the World. I didn't live in a cave, right? Anything, I'm gonna pick it. It's Marty Robbins. Songs include Good-Hearted Woman, Jumper Cable Man, I'm Just Here to Get My Baby Out of Jail. I can't remember how that goes. This is David Sanborn. I win because there's no lyrics. Jack Jones. Can I sing one of these songs? She may be the face I can't forget, a trace of pleasure or regret, the one I'll treasure through the rough and rainy years. Frankie Valli. Oh, this song, Hickory. Hickory, when you're singing the blues, this downtown guy feels like uptown news. Remember this when you take one record out and they'd all rearrange themselves? They're like, remember Gravity? That's a thing. Maybe Gumby was holding this whole thing up. Okay, I'll meet you inside the office. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite podcasts. It's called Heavyweight, and it's on Gimlet Media. It sounds like a podcast about powerlifting. It is not. This magnificent podcast is equal parts comedy, therapy, and closure. Jonathan Goldstein focuses each episode on a person who walks through life with the heavy weight of an issue that has gone unresolved. He takes that individual by the emotional hand and gently facilitates a journey towards an unfaced demon. It could be the sorority that mysteriously booted someone, a childhood memory challenged by the rest of the family, a stepmother and child reunion, or a yearning for thanks from techno music star Moby, who launched his career inspired by a friend's obscure CD collection. Heavyweight is moving and voyeuristic and hilarious and possibly the greatest podcast ever. Listen, and you're welcome. My husband and I are 3 seasons into a wonderful program called Last Tango in Halifax. 2 long-lost star-crossed adorables find each other at last in their 70s on Facebook and attempt to blend but wind up more like entangling the troubled families that resulted from them having married the wrong people. This show is deliciously British. It airs on PBS and can be found on Netflix, iTunes, Amazon Prime, and beyond. Oh, look, it's Paul calling. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Wheezy.
Pretty young Paul.
Wheezy. I'm looking for Louise Palenker.
You found her. Oh, how does it go again?
I'm looking for Louise Palenker. Louise Palenker. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Jody Watley somehow had the wrong lyric sheet.
Obviously.
So by way of full disclosure, Paul and I worked together at the very, very early days of Premier Radio Networks, and we would go out and interview musical artists.
Yes, we would. Speaking of Jody Watley, I remember our interview with her.
Right.
And I remember we went in to interview her and she had on a hat. She had on a baseball hat.
Yes.
That said, boy.
It said boy.
From the store Boy from the UK at the time, which was huge. And I don't recall if it was you or I, one of us told her that she was mislabeled.
Right.
And she looked at us both like we had 3 heads.
Right over her head.
But the other one I remember was Taylor Dane.
Oh, Taylor Dane, Leslie Wonderman.
Right. And do you remember she gave me the headshot and I asked her to sign it. And she said, what do you want me to say? And I go, oh, could you kiss it? Because, you know, she had a beautiful mouth and I thought it'd be funny. And her management was like, no, she is not allowed to do that. And they wouldn't let her kiss the picture.
She doesn't kiss things.
I was like, whatever.
This is a first date.
Tell it to my heart.
Well, what? Oh, I see what you did there. So
Yeah.
I brought in some show and tell.
Awesome.
This is in my record collection as if you had just posted this here. And what you did was you took my Barry Gibb album and you wrote Louise's favorite Christ-like figure, which was accurate. I mean, look at that punum. You would give things nicknames. So this is,
Oh.
what did you call this one?
That's Dick Marks. And if you hang that on your wall, you have Dick Marks on your wall.
Yes, you had Dick Marks on the wall. So that was the kind of fun we got up to. But now I want to know how you are quarantining yourself. Are you quarantining? You have a teenage boy.
Right. I have a 14-year-old son who is home all the time. And what's funny is his friends a while back were all talking about TikTok. And I was like, what is this TikTok? So, you know, I'm on Instagram. I'm on all of the social media. So I finally downloaded TikTok about 2 weeks ago. And I kind of fell into a black hole of just watching, just like scrolling through all of the posts. And I was like, oh my God, this is the worst.
But it's hypnotic too, right?
It is. And then all of a sudden, like 2 hours have passed and I go like, what just happened? First of all, the gays are very desperate for attention. And I can say that being one of them.
This is not a headline.
I know, but that's
not newsworthy.
I know, but it's cringeworthy. It really.
So it's reinforcing that theme.
Right. There are maybe 5 or 6 songs that almost every post uses.
So wait, back me up a second. Explain what TikTok is and explain, like, are there certain songs that are available to you to dance to or lip sync to, or what is TikTok?
TikTok it's like a video sharing. It's like Vine used to be, but you have a minute instead of, you know, however long. I think Vine was like 15 seconds or whatever. But you can post like up to a minute of video. I have not posted at all. I just scroll through them and just sit there Slack. Just like, what'll happen with a lot of them, especially with the kids, and this can be my okay boomer moment. Somebody will post a dance challenge. They'll have a song like the big one that's still going on even now with the Beyonce remix is Megan Thee Stallion song Savage. So there's like a little dance that goes with it and they post it as a dance challenge. And so then every kid that is on TikTok will do the challenge. Now every adult, every senior, every person on the planet is now doing the dance challenge to Savage.
Is this because we're all home?
That has to be. Right, that's really,
okay, that was good.
Right, see, then you've got the one gem in the middle of all the other.
Yeah, I'll show you what I've been doing. And so this is the Switch from Nintendo. Yes, as you can see, I'm one of many quarantined worldwide who are playing Animal Crossing. Yes. So he's picking weeds, and then you're thinking, well, all right, we're tidying up, but how do I win? Right. You know, I want to win the game. And then you go online and it says, oh, you can sell your weeds. So it may seem like a harmless game, Paul, but you sell weed. This is just one step away from GTA.
Right.
Right? This is Tom Nook or something. He's talking to me because there's some kind of daily challenge.
Right, you have to do something. And then are there things you have to do every day?
Yeah, and you have to.
Or like it's not like a Tamagotchi where you have to keep it alive, is it?
I think you could get away with not playing it, but I'm trying to pay back my my travel expenses.
Oh, right.
Which are called, so I have to earn miles. So I sell weed.
Okay.
Anyway, so this is what grown-ups have been up to. My nephew Jake and my cousin May told me that just coincidentally during this time of quarantine, it's entirely soothing and that people are finding it therapeutic to play Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Because you really do just walk around and plant things. And there are goals because you have to sell things and you can fish. And you'll like this because you're into horrors of culture.
Yeah.
You can blend flowers to make different colors.
Oh.
And get seeds and earn things to buy more things, and you can change your outfit, and who doesn't love that?
That too, yeah.
So, I mean, I bet if you went on TikTok and did a search for Animal Crossing, you'd find Animal Crossing TikToks.
Sure, we've all been playing a lot of this. But when you go in the airport, have you heard that like sick ass song playing in the back?
Shut up about working out. I can't say I'm the biggest.
All right, yeah. So I knew there'd be stuff on there.
So,
Okay, so we're blending genres. So everyone's just kind of like figuring out something to do. And it's like, much like Animal Crossing, where you find different things and build, we're all finding things in our environment. Like people are trying new recipes and
oh my gosh,
combinations of things. And like, oh, I could put a flower in this hat and make it look different. Like we're reinventing constantly because we've been given kind of like just the beginning tools that you get in The Sims or in Animal Crossing. We're like, we're our basic location. And it's like, all right, what else could I create? So what have you been creating? Anything that you wouldn't have if you were leaving the house every day?
I've actually planted my garden. I planted tomatoes and basil and cilantro. And
have you been watching or reading anything good that you'd like to recommend?
Well, I actually watched MIddleditch and Schwartz.
Okay, what's that?
It's Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley, the show Silicon Valley, and Ben Schwartz, who's from Parks and Rec. They filmed while they were on tour their improv show. They filmed 3 or 4 of them and put them up on Netflix, and they're hysterical. What they do is they ask somebody in the audience, like, what's an event that's coming up that you're looking forward to? And somebody said, oh, a wedding. All right, so then they start talking to the person, get a bunch of information about the wedding, and then they do an hour-long improv about that wedding. And it's hysterical. It's really good. There's another show called Elite, which is a Spanish, it's very YA, it's very young adult, because those kind of things like Riverdale, it's very much like a Riverdale meets Gossip Girl kind of show, but it's in Spanish and it's subtitled. But just, stupid things like that. And then on YouTube, I get stuck into these black holes of like, what did I just watch? My son turned me on to this guy named Mr. Beast, who is one of the top YouTubers. He makes a buttload of money, but he goes around and he does these things like last person to take their hand off this car wins it. And he's giving away Lamborghinis, Teslas. It's all sponsored, obviously, but he's giving back to the community, which is really nice. He's found, once he found his voice, he started in 2012, and I think probably about 3 or 4 years ago, he found his voice. And now he is constantly going out into the community. He'll go to a supermarket and go, anything you can fit in this aisle, I will pay for. And so some underprivileged person will be lucky enough to, he works with social services in his town to find people. And so that's been pretty fun. But then I also get in these weird videos of like people building things in the dirt, like underground pools, houses with underground houses and a pool, and they just build it with one tool. I think it's called Primitive Tool is the name of the channel.
Wow.
And it's 2 guys with like a machete, and they dig this whole thing out, build this house and a pool, and they get the water. It's crazy.
They had played too much Minecraft.
Yeah, but it is like human Minecraft.
So I think we've all kind of had that experience where you're looking for one thing on YouTube, and then you wind up finding a thing that you never knew someone had loaded onto YouTube. And so like a really simple example is that is because lately I've been kind of obsessed with my record collection from when I was a kid into my 20s of records that never made the transition into digital. So like songs you haven't heard since you were 15, that's really fun to do. And so a lot of people on YouTube have just recorded full albums, right? So there was this one Kenny Rogers song that I was looking for, and I found it, and it's called Something Inside So Strong, but that is not the point. Turns out there's an entire musical special that aired on television in 1989 that was Kenny, Dolly, and Willie Nelson wearing a suit.
In a suit?
And short hair.
Shut up.
I don't know how much pot he had to smoke in order to get himself in that frame of mind. He seemed mildly uncomfortable throughout.
Yeah.
It's a 20-year celebration of the first man on the moon, and the whole audience is next to the rocket that went to the moon. Only Kenny can pull off this kind of extravaganza.
Production value.
That's worth a view. if you haven't listened to the podcast, Dolly Parton's America, just write that down right now because it's glorious.
Dolly Parton's America.
It's a brand new podcast where they explore. It's by Jad Abumrad, who's one of the co-hosts of Radiolab, and his dad just like randomly knows Dolly Parton. So he kind of went to a concert and he was looking around going, this is a cross section, you know, because there's everything from like hillbillies to lesbians and everything.
Right.
Hillbilly
She
lesbians.
crosses all boundaries, right.
Yeah, and they're all with each other like, you're cool, you're cool. It's just, he was just kind of like mind blown. And so he started exploring, and the more he explored, the more he uncovered. And so it's a fascinating listen. So I recommend Dolly Parton's America. And that was told to me by my cousin Jim, who was on last week's episode of Quarantainment.
Oh, yes. All right, I'll check it out definitely because I'm always looking for something new because I'm just bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Yeah.
There's so many themes that are explored. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Pip.
No, thank you. And thanks for all the information. Now I can go do new things, look at new things, and find new things to watch.
And I will do the same. All right.
Awesome.
Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.